The Wishing Tree. It was a bright and sunny morning at Greenfield Elementary School. Today was Children's Day, and everyone was excited. The school was decorated with balloons and colorful banners. The children were laughing and playing games. There were many kids at the school. Some loved sports, some liked reading, and some were just happy to be with their friends. All the kids had dreams and wishes. Suddenly, something strange happened. A big, old tree appeared on the school grounds. It wasn't there before. The tree looked very old and had dark, twisted branches. There was a sign on the tree. It said, "One wish granted to every child." The children were curious. They gathered around the tree. One by one, they made their wishes. The big, old tree was very strange. No one knew where it came from, but the sign said, "One wish granted to every child." So the children made their wishes. John wished to be the fastest runner. When he made his wish, he felt very happy. He loved to run. But soon he found out he couldn't stop running. He ran and ran, even when he was tired. He couldn't sleep because he was always running. Lucy wished to be the smartest. She liked reading and learning. After her wish, she knew many things. But now her head was full of too many thoughts. She couldn't sleep or think clearly. It was too much for her. Tim wished he could fly. He thought it would be fun. But when he started to float, he couldn't come back down. He was scared and cried for help. His friends tried to pull him down, but it didn't work. The other children saw what was happening. They were scared and didn't know what to do. They started to think the tree was bad. But some kids thought it was just a coincidence and didn't believe the tree was causing the problems. The children were in trouble. They had to find a way to stop the bad wishes before it was too late. At first, the children tried to ignore the problems. They thought maybe the strange things would stop. But the signs were clear. John was still running. Lucy's head was still full of too many thoughts. Tim was still floating in the air. Some kids started to worry more. They whispered to each other, "Is the tree doing this?" But others said, "No, it can't be the tree. It's just a coincidence." More strange things happened. Sally wished for a pet cat, but the cat was wild and scratched her. Tom wished to be strong, but he couldn't control his strength and broke everything he touched. The teachers noticed the problems too. They tried to help, but they didn't understand what was happening. They thought the children were just having bad luck or playing tricks. The children felt scared and alone. They didn't know what to do. Some still didn't believe the tree was bad. They thought it was just bad luck. But others felt sure the tree was causing all the problems. The children needed to find a way to stop the bad wishes. They had to figure out the truth about the tree before things got worse. He was very tired and scared. Lucy couldn't sleep at all. She was always thinking and her head hurt. She started to cry a lot. Tim was still floating. He was very high in the air now. His friends couldn't reach him. He was cold and very scared. Sally's wild cat ran away and she was sad and hurt. Tom kept breaking things. He was afraid to touch anything. Other children were scared too. They didn't want to make wishes anymore. They saw what happened to their friends, but the children who already made wishes were in big trouble. The school was not fun anymore. It was a scary place. The children whispered to each other. They knew something had to be done. They couldn't let the bad wishes continue. They needed to find a way to fix everything. The children decided to talk to each other. They wanted to find out more about the tree. They hoped they could work together to stop the bad wishes before it was too late. The children who made wishes felt very alone. John was always running. He couldn't play with his friends. He was very tired and sad. Lucy stayed in the library, trying to read more and more, but her head hurt too much. She felt lonely and scared. Tim was still floating high in the air. He cried for help, but no one could reach him. He felt very alone and afraid. Sally's wild cat was gone. She sat alone, missing her pet. Tom didn't want to touch anything. He was afraid he would break more things. He stayed away from his friends. The other children were scared too. They didn't know how to help. They didn't want to make wishes anymore. They saw what happened to their friends and were afraid the same thing would happen to them. The school felt very different. It was quiet and tense. No one was happy. Everyone was worried. The teachers tried to help, but they didn't understand what was happening. They thought the children were just having problems they couldn't explain. The children who made wishes felt very isolated. They were scared and didn't know what to do. They missed their friends and wanted things to go back to normal. They needed to find a way to fix the bad wishes and make the tree go away. The children knew they had to do something. They couldn't let the bad wishes continue. They decided to work together to find a way to stop the tree. They gathered in the library after school. They looked for books about magic and wishes. They wanted to find out how to undo the wishes. It was hard work, but they didn't give up. One day, Lucy found an old book. It had stories about a wishing tree. The book said that the wishes could be undone. The children were excited. They read the book carefully. The book said they had to understand their wishes and why they went wrong. They needed to face their fears and talk to the tree. It was a scary idea, but they knew they had to try. The children made a plan. They would go to the tree and ask it to undo the wishes. They knew it wouldn't be easy. They were scared, but they were also determined. The next day, they went to the tree. They stood together and took deep breaths. They were ready to talk to the tree and ask for its help. They hoped they could fix everything and make the school a happy place again. The tree whispered again, "To undo your wishes, you must make a sacrifice. You must give up something important to you." The children looked at each other. They knew this would be hard. They thought about what they could give up. John spoke first. "I will give up my favorite sneakers. I love them, but I want to stop running." Lucy nodded. "I will give up my favorite books. I love reading, but I need my mind to be calm." Tim, still floating, said, "I will give up my favorite kite. I love flying it, but I need to come down." Sally said, "I will give up my favorite toy. I loved my cat, but it was too wild." Tom thought for a moment. "I will give up my favorite action figure. I want to be strong, but I need to stop breaking things." The children placed their favorite items at the base of the tree. They felt sad, but they knew it was the right thing to do. The tree's branches moved again. The children felt a warm breeze this time. The tree whispered, "Your sacrifice is accepted. Your wishes will be undone." Slowly, the strange things began to stop. John could walk normally again. Lucy's mind felt calm. Tim floated gently to the ground. Sally felt better, even without her cat. Tom could touch things without breaking them. The children hugged each other. They were happy and relieved. They had learned a big lesson about wishes and responsibility. The children were happy their wishes were undone. They felt normal again. They knew they had learned an important lesson. The tree started to disappear. Its branches and leaves faded away. Soon, there was no tree at all. The children looked at the spot where the tree had been. They knew they would never forget what happened. The school became a happy place again. The children played and laughed. They remembered to be careful with their wishes. They knew that sometimes what you wish for can bring trouble. John, Lucy, Tim, Sally, and Tom were closer friends now. They had faced a scary time together and learned from it. They promised to always help each other and be responsible with their wishes. The teachers and other children were glad everything was back to normal. They didn't know the full story, but they saw how brave the children had been. On the next Children's Day, the kids were happy but careful. They knew to think before they wished for something. They had learned that wishes have power and must be made with care. The children went on with their lives, wiser and more thoughtful. They never saw the wishing tree again, but they remembered its lesson forever.